Hi, Giuseppe. Thank you for joining us today ahead of World Vermouth Day. So we thought it'd be great to sit down and ask you some questions about the category, as you are obviously so knowledgeable about it. And yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, Megan. Thank you so much for inviting me. And as you know, Vermouth has been still my first love in the mixology world. So very happy to talk about the truth about Vermouth today.
Great. So I think a good place to kick things off and start would be to ask you what excites you most about the vermouth category.
Vermouth is the first ever sort of cocktail ready to serve that we ever seen in our industry, enjoyed by people, and spread it a culture around the world. What really excited me about Vermouth, that actually he brought the aperitivo culture from Italy all around the world. Without Vermouth today, we probably wouldn't have the classic cocktails that we all enjoy in bars. And moreover, we wouldn't have a lot of stories to tell about mixologists, bartenders, and cocktailarians.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I guess you touched on that a bit just then, but why would you say the vermouth category is so important today?
Vermouth category is the base of all the classic cocktail we have today. If you think about the Manhattan, the Martinez, the Negroni, the Americano, the Boulevardier, they're all based on vermouth. The most famous cocktail in the world, the dry martini, with vermouth, and so on and so forth. Without the vermouth as a category, without the vermouth being so different, versatile, and flexible in cocktails, today probably we wouldn't have so many great cocktails available all around the world.
Okay, so it's got a lot to be responsible for. And what would you say the main differences are between the aperitifs and the digestives?
It's one of the main misconception around the world about aperitif and digestive. And I usually, when I got this question, I'm always answering with another question. Is the Negroni an aperitif cocktail or the Negroni is a digestive cocktail? And when you are in the middle of a group of people, they usually got split 50-50 answer. Somebody says an aperitif, somebody says a digestive. Well, it's all about our mentality and how we approach the cocktail. The Negroni can be enjoyed as aperitif, but also can be enjoyed as digestive. So one, it doesn't exclude another. Now, both occasion, the aperitif or the digestive, they actually base around a meal, around a dinner or lunch. So what is really important is the functional part of this occasion. Usually aperitif or digestive cocktails occasion, they base on bitter style of drink. Americano, Manhattan, Sbagliato. Okay? So what happened that those cocktails, they made with bitter liqueurs, vermouth, or amaros. All those different liqueurs, they got at the base botanicals. Most of them bitter botanicals. The bitter component that the botanicals, they actually release into the liquid. When you have those kind of cocktails, the bitterness is starting to stimulate your papille here. So they increase the salivation. The salivation, it goes down to your stomach and it open up the stomach and get settled ready for your lunch or dinner. Or if you have it as a digestive, it actually helps to digest the food that you had for lunch or for dinner. So the mechanics, the functional part is very much the same. It's the approach that is slightly different. Usually, as an Italian, I would rather prefer to have a light style of what today we're calling a low ABV style of cocktails. Low ABV for not English speakers means low alcohol by volume. And vermouth, the intrinsics of vermouth is a low ABV. And usually for digestive, you may want to have something a little bit more high in alcohol percentage, just because it does help to digest. Think about the Manhattan cocktail or the Boulevardier, for instance.
Okay. Great, thank you. That was really clear. And how do you see the future of the vermouth category changing? I know you mentioned before that it's been around for hundreds of years, but do you see it changing quite a lot in the future or still the same?
First of all, vermouth, it definitely had a resurgence in the last 10 to 15 years, thanks to the, first of all, the trend of the speakeasy bar, and then the resurgence of classic cocktails. So we rediscover cocktails that perhaps 20 years ago, there was not that much awareness amongst bartenders and professionals. Think about the Boulevardier. But what I think is the most exciting area for the vermouth nowadays is actually the flavor profile they can bring into the cocktails. We're going from a very classic standard red, dry, and white style of vermouth to many, many different flavors nowadays. First of all, you have more vermouth based on different style of wine, or more predominant style of wine. You have there next to you Savoia, which is based on the fortified wine, the Marsala Fine, aged for 14 months, correct?
Yeah.
But also think about how many new pink rosé vermouth we have in the industry nowadays. And then, as you can see on my back, you have a lots of very interesting new style of vermouth, locally made, for example, in Spain or Portugal or Greece, where they're using the local style of wine. Some of those actually they're made with a sherry as a base. So we have a completely new spectrum of flavor that bartenders nowadays, they can mix vermouth in their cocktail program.
Okay, great. And what would you say is the biggest misconception around the vermouth category?
Yes, vermouth is a wine-based aperitif. It's part of the aromatized wine broad category, and it's based on wine. By the European law, to be called vermouth, you must use at least 75% wine per liter. It's not spirits or grain alcohol, the base. Therefore, you must to keep the vermouth refrigerated. And you must to drink, or I would recommend to drink vermouth refrigerated at the same style you drink white wine. Would you ever drink a warm white wine? No. So never drink a warm vermouth. Always try to place the bottle in the fridge or in a cold environment, and then you have your glass of vermouth, or you make your cocktail with vermouth. It's very important. Remember, the first sips is what you set to your brain and what it makes you want more or want less of that very specific glass, of that very specific liquid. Therefore, it's our goal and it's our responsibilities to share with the consumers and with the cocktail connoisseur the right way how to drink vermouth.
Nice. And then lastly, as you are so informative about the category, what would your 3 recommendations be to somebody that is approaching vermouth in the mixology world, or as a consumer?
As a consumer, I will repeat myself again, keep the vermouth refrigerated.
Yeah.
And because it's a wine base, after you open a bottle of vermouth, try to finish the bottle of vermouth within 6, 7, 8 weeks at maximum.
Okay.
For bartenders, I saw so many bartenders believe that red vermouth is based on red wine. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely mistaken. All the vermouths, they're based on white wine. There is non-vermouth based on red wine, or actually, to be precise, 99.5% of the vermouth that we know, so we are aware in the industry, they're based on white wine. Despite it's a red, white, dry, rosé style. There is a very small percentage of vermouth. They have a little blend or part of the wine base. They're using some red wine for very specific reasons, because you may want to release some tannins, because you may want to release a specific colors. But the main base is always white wine. And when I see bartenders and try to make their own vermouth in a bar, in a barrique, in wood, with red wine, my recommendation will be there is a lot of great quality vermouth out there, which they've been around for hundreds of years, which they're going through a long chain of quality check. Try to work with them. Try to understand them, because I'm sure they will deliver a great cocktail program for your bar.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I think that was everything covered in terms of the truth about vermouth. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to add, or...
At the end of every session, I always remind everybody, if you want to be an happy woman, drink a glass of vermouth every day.
Okay. Noted.
It's a low ABV, it's natural, and it makes you smile.
Nice. Okay, and thank you again for joining us today. And yeah, hope you have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Megan, and looking forward to see you very soon. Salute!
You too. Salute!